Just a few hours ago, during a press event on vaccine development, the president declared, quote, vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. Now, Trump wants you to believe we're back, but let's be incredibly clear about this. We are not back. There's a long, long way to go before we are anywhere close to making declarations like that. As of tonight, there are 1,450,637 reported cases of coronavirus in the United States. 88,101 confirmed deaths from coronavirus in the United States, and that is likely an undercount. Just tonight, CDC Director Robert Redfield tweeted that all 12 of the forecasting models that the CDC follows predicts the United States is heading toward more than 100,000 coronavirus deaths by June the 1st. That's a little over 2 weeks from today. And one of the main coronavirus models used by the White House now projects that 147,000 people will die in the U.S. by the beginning of August. Some 36 million Americans have filed for unemployment insurance claims in just 2 months. Nearly 15% of the U.S. workforce was unemployed as of April. And last night, Governor Andrew Cuomo assailed the federal response to the pandemic in a discussion with Rachel.
They left it to these 50 different states with no real guidance or national standard. You're right, New York, the curve is coming down. You take New York out, the curve is going up, Rachel, and they're opening. You know, by what standard? So I don't think that's going to change for the second wave, if there is a second wave, because that's the federal course and the ship has sailed.
All right, does that sound like we're back? You got to admit, it's interesting to hear the president praise his administration's efforts to develop a desperately needed vaccine, only to dismiss those very efforts moments later today because he thinks we're already over the worst of this. Conflicting messages like that are at the heart of a scathing editorial in The Lancet, one of the best-known general medicine journals in the world. It says, quote, the administration is obsessed with magic bullets, vaccines, new medicines, or a hope that the virus will simply disappear. But only a steadfast reliance on basic public health principles like test, trace, and isolate will see the emergency brought to an end. And this requires an effective national public health agency, end quote. The degree to which the pandemic is becoming political is, frankly, alarming. At the very same event where the president dismissed the need for a vaccine, he promised to have one ready for widespread use by the end of the year. That's 2 months after the presidential election. Trump wants you to make a choice in November, in part based on the notion that a vaccine will be available conveniently just after you reelect him. And then if the timeline falls apart, what does it matter? He was just reelected. This kind of promise is clearly political, but it's also remarkably dangerous because it affects policy decisions at the state and the federal level, and those decisions could mean life or death if we get them wrong. Here's the thing. You cannot talk yourself into a vaccine. The fastest a vaccine has ever been produced from start to finish is 5 years. Now, some parts of the process could be sped up. Governments and companies and foundations are all trying to do that desperately. But as philanthropist Bill Gates noted last month, in the final phase of vaccine trials, phase 3, you must give the vaccine to thousands, probably tens of thousands of people, and make sure it works and make sure it's not dangerous. And that takes time because, quote, it occurs in what is called natural disease conditions. You must wait and see if the vaccine reduces how many people get sick. We have to be real about this. It would be great to have a vaccine ready to go in 6 months. It would be great to have one ready the day after the election. Better still, the day before the election. But it's not likely to happen, and telling Americans otherwise is dangerous, and it's wrong, and it could cost lives.